I haven't looked outside in a while to check the weather, but LeBron James is in the building, and he looks ready to go.
Same.
Access Sportsnet Lakers starts right now.
3, 2, 1. The Lakers are the world champions.
Passes under to Will. He puts it up and slams.
This pass out of front, broken up by Worthy. Tip to Magic. Worthy dives on his belly. Magic scores.
Boy, was that a sensational pass by Magic.
On a hook shot at 12. Good! 12-footer, good!
Magic right side to Worthy. Slam.
And an 81-point game.
I couldn't even dream of this when I was a kid. Just no way possible.
To put the champagne away. 3 straight NBA championships.
The Lakers repeat back-to-back titles. The Lakers are the world champions.
Laker Nation want their respect. I want my damn respect, too.
They're running the floor, and AD finishes.
Doesn't take him long.
Look out, AD.
There's a little more energy in the building tonight. It's the Lakers and Kings for the third and final time this season, but first one at Staples Center. Tip-off is at 7:30 here on Spectrum Sportsnet. Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers, Chris McGee, James Worthy, Mike Bresnahan. That's our crew for tonight.
Got Brez in the
Rob, Tuscaloosa.
Got Brez in the hot seat tonight.
Allie, not here tonight. Cordell's here, though. But, guys, first this. A Woj bomb dropped before noon. It hit Twitter, and everyone went nuts. LeBron James expected to return to action tonight. LeBron was originally ruled out on the Lakers injury report, but was upgraded to questionable after Woj reported that the King might play tonight. LeBron suffered a high right ankle sprain back on March 20th when Atlanta's Solomon Hill dove into him going for a loose ball. Other than some cryptic social media posts, no timeline was given for LeBron's return. LeBron missed the last 20 games with that injury. The Lakers have gone 8-12 during that time. They're 8-13 in games this season that he has not played, being outscored by 2.5 points per game. Now for the latest, let's get you to Staples Center. Mike Trudell is there live. He's no doctor, but he is the Lakers reporter. Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Welcome downtown. Well, LeBron is back, right? That, of course, is the headline, and that is all I wanted to ask Frank Vogel about. So let's get right to it. Here's Frank Vogel talking about LeBron James and the plan for him to play tonight and how they're going to use him.
He's progressed. He's been progressing each day that he's been doing his work. Obviously, he's worked extremely hard, extremely diligently, as you would expect from him, to get his body back and right. And he felt coming off this trip that it's time for him to return to the lineup. So we're excited to have him back.
Frank, when AD came back, he had him on that minutes restriction recently, I think 15 for the first one. Anything similar with LeBron? Do you have a plan for how many minutes he'll play?
Yeah, it's a different type of injury. AD's was a soft tissue injury, and there's not going to be a hard minutes restriction on LeBron tonight, other than be responsible and try to keep his minutes reasonable in his first game back.
It is the longest absence of his career, just in terms of injury, Frank, but he is also LeBron James. You mentioned the type of injury it is. What are your expectations for the way that it'll fit in tonight against Sacramento?
We'll see. Obviously, you have to expect some rust. You have to expect some situations where he doesn't quite have his legs under him. But this is the nature of this type of season where guys are having to return from injury and work their way back into shape in games. Obviously he's been flying around the court in one-on-0 workouts, but that's not the same as NBA, simulating an NBA game intensity. So, it's going to be another adjustment period. We're still in an adjustment period with Anthony. This will be an adjustment period for Bron and for the guys around Bron. And, we just got to compete and battle through it.
If 10 games is not enough, just the priorities over these 10 games, if you're kind of weighing, okay, right after this is obviously the playoff start, what does stand out from a priority perspective over the final few games?
Well, they just have to work, we just got to work on the chemistry of what our group looks like now. With AD, Bron, Drum out there, Dennis shifting roles, KCP, Kuz, Keith shifting roles. It's not just those guys that are returning; it's all the other guys that they're returning to lesser roles than they had when those guys were out, and it's just going to be just a massive adjustment period for our group that, we got to compete through, and we're going to have some imperfect nights like we did on this past trip. Hopefully we can win games through this adjustment period.
All right, guys, there's Frank Vogel. And, Markieff Morris actually described this about a month and a half ago of saying, hey, this could be the ramp-up period for LeBron where he gets to actually rest the rest of his body. And now you have a couple games for him to get into full-on LeBron playoff mode. That starts tonight. Going to be curious and very interested to see how he looks tonight against the Kings. And, Peter, my guess is he'll look pretty good.
Yeah, he usually does, Mike. Thank you so much. 20 games, March 20th. I think we're all ready. And Mike's right. Markieff is right. It's time to ramp up. There's 17 days left in this season, 10 games left, and then hopefully you have that week to prepare for the playoffs. We sat up here last night, Big Game James. We didn't know he was playing. The reports everyone had heard, he was still listed as out. Are you surprised it's tonight?
I am so surprised.
You weren't ready for it, were you?
Very unexpected.
Were you on the course when you found out?
I'm sorry?
Were you on the course when you found out?
I was not. Actually, I hadn't played the last couple of days. Some other things to do. Yeah, let the body rest. Yeah. As LeBron has, let his body rest. He's probably the only one that knew. Like AD, we didn't see a lot of AD's progress. We saw him shooting. We saw him, moving around a little bit. We saw LeBron running in a straight direction, back and forth. We hadn't really seen any cutting, so I wasn't sure. But it is a welcome because whatever he has will be a welcome sight for his teammates. He might not be able to do quite everything he's capable of doing right now, but on the floor with his teammates, with the ball in his hand, will be a major, major welcome.
Just when the Lakers need a little bit of a push, losing 3 of their last 4, here it comes in the form of a guy averaging 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. It's almost like they got another late season pickup. Here he is. He hasn't played in 41 days. That's a long time, guys, no doubt about it. And the thing we have to look for probably from LeBron, how's the wind? It's not the type of injury, a severely sprained ankle, where you can get on the treadmill. It's not like a forearm fracture or anything like that. It's something where you have to sit and wait for it to heal. So will he play his average of 34 minutes? I doubt it, but I'd like to see him get to the mid-20s, maybe even the upper 20s. Good news for the Lakers. Perfect team for him to come back against. Sacramento really struggling without some key guys tonight, too.
Yeah, they're missing a couple of their best players. The Lakers a game up on Dallas. I want you to look at this right here, the standings. They're a game up on Dallas, only 2 on the Blazers. The Blazers are currently up 8 against Brooklyn with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. 3 teams with 10 games left. The key is to stay out of that play-in tournament. Big Game, do you think LeBron feels that urgency to kind of stay above those 2 teams?
I think he knows it's a sense of urgency to have that week off. Yeah. And not be fooling around with a playing game. Whatever he can contribute to avoid that, that playing game, I think that's why he's coming back now. And so it's important that the Lakers have that week off. I'm not really sure. It's critical at this moment where they're seated or who they're going to play, but they need that week off. And I think having LeBron back, can contribute to them making sure, hopefully they can do that.
See, to me, this is kind of a bonus time for LeBron. I thought he was going to come back on Sunday against another kind of downtrodden team, the Toronto Raptors, because next week's schedule really ramps up quickly, James. You got Denver, you got the Clippers, you got Portland. We just looked at them in the standings there. And then you got Phoenix all next week. So I thought LeBron might try to sneak in one game before the crush of the schedule, but he's going to get 2 in. So I think this is a big deal for him tonight. Again, doesn't have to really push himself, but it's going to be good to see him back out.
We also heard Frank say no minutes restriction, but we're going to be smart with this tonight. We'll see how LeBron feels. LeBron's going to tell everyone how it's going. I can tell you that right now. All right, much more to come on Access as we get ready for the Lakers and Kings. We take another look at LeBron James getting some shots up at Staples Center. Just 10 games remain for the purple and gold as they prepare to make a playoff push.